Blueberries and eye health share one of the quietly remarkable relationships in the whole world of everyday food. Over the next little while, you will see a collection of simple preparations that bring blueberries together with familiar companions, from a handful of fresh berries in a bowl to gentle blends and cool, refreshing mixtures. While we explore what these small blue spheres can offer your vision, the nutrients they hold, the traditions gathered around them, and the easiest ways to fold them into an ordinary day. Everything here stays practical, affordable, and grounded in real food. Consider this the useful knowledge you came to find, offered one clear idea at a time, so that by the end, you hold both the story of this little fruit and a handful of easy ways to enjoy it. Right at the start, picture blueberries beside the bright spark of a lime and the deep orange of a carrot. Three colors arrive together, and color turns out to be one of the great secrets of food that supports the eyes. That single idea will guide much of our story, because the pigments that paint fruits and vegetables are very often the exact compounds researchers find most interesting for the delicate work of sight. Keep that thought close, because it returns again and again as the picture grows richer. So what makes a blueberry blue? The answer sits at the heart of its value. That deep blue-purple skin is rich in a family of natural pigments called anthocyanins. These pigments belong to a larger group of plant compounds known as flavonoids, and they act as antioxidants inside the body. In simple terms, an antioxidant helps protect cells from a kind of everyday wear that scientists call oxidative stress. Think of it as a slow form of rust that living tissue works constantly to manage. Blueberries are among the better-known fruit sources of these colorful protective compounds, frequently ranked near the top of common fruits for their antioxidant richness, and that reputation is a large part of why they are so beloved. Yet the real wonder begins when we ask what those compounds may mean for the eyes. Researchers remain especially curious about how these colorful compounds relate to healthy circulation. The eye depends on a network of exceptionally fine blood vessels to deliver oxygen and nutrients to its hard-working tissues. And good blood flow is part of what keeps vision comfortable over a lifetime. Studies continue to explore how the plant compounds in deeply colored berries may fit into this picture. And while the science is still unfolding, the broader message is already clear and encouraging. A diet generous in colorful fruits and vegetables supports the healthy circulation the whole body relies upon, eyes very much included. Now, why should the eyes care about antioxidants in particular? Here, the story becomes genuinely beautiful. The eye behaves like a living camera. Light passes through the clear front window, the cornea, travels through the lens, and lands on a delicate screen at the back called the retina. That retina holds two kinds of light-sensing cells. The rods handle dim light and help you see in shadow and at night, while the cones handle color and fine detail in brighter conditions. Together, millions of them convert streams of light into signals your brain reads as the world. It is one of the most active and light-exposed tissues in the entire body. Day after day, it absorbs light and works at astonishing speed. And that combination of light and oxygen naturally produces oxidative stress. This is exactly the setting where a steady supply of antioxidant-rich foods, blueberries among them, fits so neatly into a thoughtful diet. It helps to picture the whole visual system as a beautifully coordinated team. The lens bends and focuses incoming light with astonishing precision, adjusting moment to moment as your gaze shifts from a near page to a far window. The retina translates that light into signals, and the brain assembles them into the seamless world you see. Every part of this system benefits from steady nourishment, and as the years pass, a diet rich in colorful, antioxidant-bearing foods becomes one of the gentlest and most enjoyable ways to care for it. Blueberries slip easily into that lifelong habit. Let us bring this straight down to the kitchen. The simplest preparation of all needs no recipe card. A single cup of fresh blueberries, roughly 150 grams, served in a small bowl as a snack or alongside breakfast, delivers fiber, vitamin C, and that signature dose of anthocyanins, all in their complete natural form. When you eat the whole berry, skin and all, you keep every bit of the fiber, and the skin is precisely where much of the color and antioxidant value lives. It is humble, it is quick, and it is one of the finest small things you can do for a colorful, eye-friendly plate. There is a lovely contrast worth noticing here. A blueberry is tiny, easily balanced on a fingertip, yet inside that small body sits a surprisingly rich collection of nutrients. One modest cup offers a meaningful share of vitamin C and vitamin K, a good amount of the mineral manganese, and a generous helping of fiber, all for very few calories. Small size, large contribution. That theme returns again and again with this fruit, and it is worth remembering whenever a food this humble tempts you to overlook it. Blueberries also pair with almost everything, which is part of their everyday genius. When they join the mellow sweetness of banana, the sunny richness of mango, and the crisp bite of a green apple, you get a naturally sweet, colorful medley that carries antioxidants from several directions at once. A simple blend of a cup of blueberries with half a banana and a splash of water makes a smooth, gentle drink that many people enjoy in the morning. The banana brings creaminess and a little natural sweetness, while the blueberries bring their deep color and their fiber. If you prefer a thinner texture, a little more water loosens it beautifully. A green apple, chopped in, adds a fresh, tart lift that keeps the whole thing from feeling heavy. Here is a useful detail about that sweetness. Compared with many popular fruits, blueberries are relatively modest in sugar and generous in fiber, and that fiber slows the release of their natural sugars into the body. For anyone who values steady energy and a comfortable rhythm through the day, that balance is a quiet advantage. Whole blueberries, eaten just as they are, keep that fiber fully intact, and that single feature makes them one of the easiest fruits to enjoy freely. Return with me to the eye for a moment, because the reason antioxidants matter there deserves a closer look. Inside the retina sit those millions of tiny, light-sensitive cells, firing and resetting every time you glance at a face, a page, or a distant horizon. That relentless activity, bathed in light, produces reactive molecules that healthy tissue works to keep in balance. A diet rich in colorful plants supplies a broad mix of antioxidant compounds that support the body's own everyday maintenance systems. No single food carries the whole responsibility, and that is the honest and reassuring truth. Blueberries simply take their welcome place among a colorful cast of fruits and vegetables that, together, help the body do its quiet work year after year. Consider what modern life asks of our eyes. Many of us now spend hours looking at bright screens, holding our focus close and steady for long stretches, and our eyes work harder than ever to keep up. During intense screen time, people tend to blink less often, and the eye surface can begin to feel tired and dry. This is where gentle daily habits matter. Looking into the distance now and then, blinking fully, keeping well hydrated, and eating a colorful, nutrient-rich diet all support the comfort and resilience of hard-working eyes. Blueberries, with their antioxidants and their water content, sit comfortably within that supportive picture, one small and pleasant piece of a sensible modern routine. Vitamin C plays its own supporting role in this story. The eye contains some of the highest concentrations of vitamin C found anywhere in the body. This vitamin contributes to the normal maintenance of many tissues, and it is essential for building collagen, the protein that gives structure to the clear cornea and to the tiny blood vessels that nourish the eye. Blueberries offer a helpful amount of vitamin C, and when they meet citrus fruits, the total naturally climbs. A squeeze of orange, mandarin, or lime alongside a bowl of berries brightens both the flavor and the vitamin C content in one easy step. a small pairing with a real purpose behind it. Another simple and satisfying preparation brings blueberries together with plain yogurt. Half a cup of blueberries stirred into a bowl of unsweetened yogurt makes a breakfast that feels indulgent while staying genuinely wholesome. The gentle fat and protein in the yogurt help you feel comfortably full. The berries add color, fiber, and antioxidants, and the whole thing takes less than a minute to assemble. For extra texture, leave a few blueberries whole on top, so each spoonful ends with a little burst of flavor. It is the kind of quick, dependable breakfast that turns good intentions into an easy daily habit. Now the story turns toward something many people find surprising. Blueberries carry, in smaller amounts, two special pigments called lutein and zeaxanthin. You will hear much more about these remarkable compounds shortly, because they sit at the very center of eye-supporting nutrition. Leafy greens and certain orange fruits hold larger amounts, yet blueberries still contribute to the daily total. And within a varied diet, every contribution counts toward the whole. Speaking of orange fruits, blueberries blend wonderfully with the soft, honeyed flesh of a ripe persimmon and the mellow sweetness of banana. Persimmon, when fully ripe and soft, offers its own warm color and a naturally smooth texture, and a small blend of blueberries with banana and a few spoonfuls of ripe persimmon becomes a comforting, spoonable treat. As always, the blueberries anchor the mixture with their deep color and their antioxidant character, while the softer fruits round out the flavor into something gentle and satisfying. Every blueberry you enjoy today carries a long and rather astonishing history. Here is a fact that catches many people by surprise. For most of human history, blueberries were entirely wild. The plants we now recognize grew across the woodlands and open barrens of North America, and for countless generations the indigenous peoples of that land gathered them, ate them fresh, and dried them to preserve their sweetness through the colder months. Dried blueberries traveled well and stored beautifully. In some traditions, the dried fruit was pounded together with meat and fat into a dense, lasting food that could sustain people through long journeys and hard winters, a dependable staple long before any farm existed. The cultivated blueberry, the plump and uniform berry sold in markets around the world today, is a surprisingly modern creation. It arrived through the patient work of two people in the early 20th century. A botanist named Frederick Coville began studying wild blueberries in the early 1900s, and he made a crucial discovery. These plants prefer acidic, well-drained soil, a particular condition that had defeated earlier attempts to tame them. He then joined forces with Elizabeth White, who lived on a farm in New Jersey and gathered the finest wild plants from the surrounding countryside, offering rewards for the largest and sweetest berries her neighbors could find. Together, around the year 1916, they brought the first commercial crop of cultivated blueberries to harvest. A wild woodland berry became a modern orchard fruit within a single lifetime. Ancient plant, modern kitchen, connected by a story barely a century old, and now grown and enjoyed across much of the world. There is a charming distinction hiding inside that history. The small, wild blueberries that still grow across the northern barrens, often called lowbush berries, tend to be tiny and intensely flavored, packing a great deal of color and character into each little sphere. The larger cultivated berries you usually find in markets, the highbush type, are plumper and milder, easy to eat by the handful. Both are wonderful, and both belong in this story. If you ever meet the smaller wild berries, whether fresh or frozen, treat yourself, because their deep flavor is a taste of the fruit, much as earlier generations knew it. That history offers a gentle contrast worth savoring. When you place blueberries beside carrot, banana, melon, and mandarin in a colorful mixture, you are gathering foods that traveled remarkably different roads to reach the same bowl. Carrots carry centuries of cultivation across Asia and Europe. Melons trace roots through ancient trade. mandarins journeyed from distant orchards, and the blueberry, by comparison, is a relative newcomer to the farm, still close to its wild beginnings. Different histories, one shared purpose on the plate, and a reminder that the ordinary bowl in front of you gathers up the whole world. Now let us return to those two pigments, lutein and zeaxanthin, because their story is one of the most elegant in all of eye nutrition. Deep within the retina lies a small central region called the macula, and at its very center, a tiny pit that delivers your sharpest, most detailed central vision. This is the vision you use to read, to recognize faces, to thread a needle. And here is the wonder of it. The body deliberately concentrates lutein and zeaxanthin in that exact spot, forming what scientists call the macular pigment. These pigments absorb a portion of the intense blue light that reaches the most precious part of the eye, acting rather like a soft, built-in filter. A pair of internal sunglasses woven from the colors of the plants we eat, tiny pigment molecules, an enormous and delicate responsibility. The body gathers lutein and zeaxanthin entirely from food, since it produces none of its own. That single fact transforms the humble plate into something rather powerful, because the colors you choose to eat become the raw material for this natural protection. Leafy greens, such as spinach, stand among the very richest sources, along with other deeply colored vegetables and fruits. Blueberries add their smaller share, and within a varied, colorful diet, every source builds patiently toward the whole. This is why eye-supporting nutrition is never about one miracle food. It is about the steady, colorful variety of an ordinary week. Think of your body's antioxidant defenses as a quiet maintenance crew that shows up every single day. They do their best work when they are supplied regularly, in small, steady amounts, rather than in one occasional flood. This is genuinely good news, because it means the humble, repeatable habit matters more than any grand gesture. A modest bowl of blueberries enjoyed often will always serve you better than a mountain of them enjoyed once. Consistency, gentle and unhurried, is the true friend of long-term eye health. This is where a clever kitchen detail earns its place. Lutein and zeaxanthin, along with the beta-carotene found in many orange vegetables, are fat-soluble, which means the body absorbs them far more readily when a little fat is present in the same meal. A wonderful way to use this knowledge is a simple salad. Toss a handful of fresh spinach with a scattering of blueberries. Then finish it with a light dressing built from a teaspoon of flaxseed oil and a squeeze of citrus. That small teaspoon of flaxseed oil, added cold to the finished salad, helps your body draw out the fat-soluble pigments from the greens and the berries alike. Color, flavor, and smarter absorption, all in one easy bowl, and a perfect example of how a tiny detail can quietly multiply the value of a meal. You can lean on this same idea with whole foods that naturally carry fat. A small scattering of walnuts or almonds over a blueberry breakfast, or a spoonful of ground flaxseed stirred into yogurt or oatmeal, brings along the gentle fat that helps the body absorb fat-soluble pigments while adding a pleasant texture of its own. For anyone with a sensitive stomach, a smaller portion of berries, or berries gently warmed into a soft compote, often sits more comfortably than a large raw serving. And building up slowly lets the body settle into the habit with ease. If a blended drink appeals to you more than a salad, the same principle applies. A green blend of blueberries with a handful of spinach and a little water carries both the anthocyanins of the berries and the lutein of the greens. The spinach flavor stays mild and pleasant when balanced by the natural sweetness of the fruit, and the color turns a deep, striking shade that tells you the pigments are present and generous. For anyone new to green blends, blueberries are the perfect gentle introduction, since their sweetness softens the taste of the leaves so kindly. Because blueberries carry such a friendly, mellow flavor, you can enjoy them in either a concentrated or a gentler form to suit your taste. A thicker blend, made with less water, gives a richer, more intense berry flavor for those who love it bold. A lighter version, loosened with more water and perhaps a slice of sweet fruit, turns mellow and easy to sip. A little tartness from citrus brightens the whole thing, while a soft banana or a spoon of mango rounds any sharp edges into something smooth and welcoming. Blueberries also welcome a warming companion. A small piece of fresh ginger, finely grated, adds a gentle heat and a lively aroma to a blueberry blend. And ginger has long been valued across many traditions as a comforting kitchen root. A cup of blueberries with a thin slice of ginger and a little water makes a bright, invigorating drink, especially pleasant when you want something with a bit more character. The blueberries keep their central role, deep in color and rich in antioxidants, while the ginger simply lifts the whole experience with its warmth. Here the story opens onto one of the oldest connections between food and sight, the link between certain orange pigments and vitamin A. Many colorful vegetables and fruits, carrots most famously, are rich in beta-carotene, a pigment the body can convert into vitamin A as it is needed. And vitamin A sits at the very foundation of vision. Inside the rod cells of the retina, vitamin A helps build a light-sensitive pigment called rhodopsin, the substance that allows the eye to respond in dim conditions. When you step from a bright room into darkness and slowly begin to see again, that gradual adjustment depends on this quiet chemistry, and vitamin A is right at its center. This is the deep biological reason behind the old and genuinely well-founded idea that certain colorful foods support the eyes. Blueberries themselves are a modest source of beta-carotene, and honesty matters here. Their gift is a different one, resting in their anthocyanins and their broader antioxidant character. This is exactly why pairing them with beta-carotene-rich companions makes such good sense. When blueberries meet carrot, mango, and mandarin, the anthocyanins of the berry join forces with the carotenoids of the other fruits, and the plate covers far more of the eye-supporting spectrum than any single food could alone. A blend or a mixed bowl of blueberries with a little carrot, some mango, and a mandarin becomes a small celebration of complementary colors, each one bringing something the others lack. There is a famous story worth telling here, told as a story rather than as settled science. During a certain wartime era, a tale spread that pilots were eating a close cousin of the blueberry, the European bilberry, to sharpen their night vision. The account captured imaginations for decades and is still repeated today. Modern research has looked at these deep blue berries with real interest, and while the dramatic night vision claim remains far from proven, the curiosity that story sparked helped inspire genuine scientific attention to anthocyanins and the eye. It is a lovely example of folklore and science walking side by side, each adding a layer to the other, and it reminds us to hold traditional tales with both affection and a clear head. Across many parts of the world, deeply colored berries have long held a place of quiet respect in traditional kitchens, valued as foods of vitality and gathered eagerly in their short season. People noticed, long before any laboratory, that these dark little fruits felt special and worth preserving. Modern nutrition now offers language for what earlier generations sensed by instinct, describing the pigments and vitamins these berries carry. Tradition and science, in this case, tell a wonderfully compatible story, and blueberries sit comfortably at the meeting point of the two. Raspberries deserve a warm mention here too, since they so often keep blueberries company. Like blueberries, raspberries carry their own colorful antioxidant pigments and a good measure of fiber and vitamin C, and a mixed bowl of blueberries and raspberries offers a beautiful range of reds and blues, along with a pleasant sweet tart flavor. Two small berries, a shared purpose, and a plate that grows more colorful and more interesting with every addition. Let us turn now to some genuinely practical wisdom, the kind that makes all of this easy to live with. Choosing good blueberries is a simple skill. Look for berries that are plump, firm, and deeply colored, and notice that fine, silvery white dusting on the surface. That soft coating is called the bloom, and it is entirely natural. Far from a flaw, the bloom is a sign of freshness, a protective layer the berry produces on its own. Firm, richly colored berries with an intact bloom are the ones you want, and a quick glance at the bottom of the container, checking that it stays clean and dry, tells you the berries inside are sound. One of the loveliest things about blueberries is how little they ask of the cook. There is no peeling, no coring, no slicing required. A rinse under cool water is the whole preparation, which makes them a perfect food for the very young and the young at heart alike. Children can eat them by the handful with no fuss, and older family members who prefer soft, easy foods can enjoy them fresh, gently warmed, or lightly mashed. Few foods this good for you are also this effortless to share across a whole family. Storing them well keeps their goodness longer. Fresh blueberries rest happily in the refrigerator, and a helpful habit is to keep them dry until you are ready to eat them. Washing berries just before serving, rather than long in advance, helps them stay firm and fresh for up to a week or two. When you are ready, a quick rinse under cool running water is all they need. There is little call for anything elaborate. Cool water and a gentle touch handle ordinary berries beautifully, and treating them as the simple, wholesome food they are keeps the whole habit light and stress-free. For the longer term, blueberries freeze remarkably well, and this is one of the most useful facts in the whole story. Spread them on a tray so they freeze as separate pieces, then gather them into a container, and they keep for many months. Because berries destined for freezing are usually picked when fully ripe and chilled quickly, frozen blueberries hold on to their color and their nutrients admirably, standing shoulder to shoulder with fresh. They are also often gentler on a modest budget and available all year round. Straight from the freezer, they become a cool, refreshing snack on a warm afternoon, almost like tiny natural sorbet spheres. Dropped into a blend, they add both chill and body with no need for ice. Keeping a bag in the freezer may be the single most practical habit in this entire story. A colorful thought before we move on. A mixed bowl of blueberries and raspberries with a handful of spinach, brightened by a fresh orange, brings together berries, leaves, and citrus in a single serving that spans a wide range of eye-supporting nutrients, from anthocyanins to lutein to vitamin C. Simple foods, thoughtfully combined, quietly cover a remarkable amount of ground, and they prove that eating for your eyes need never be complicated or costly. A question many thoughtful people ask is whether to enjoy blueberries whole or as a juice, and the honest answer holds real value on both sides. Whole blueberries keep all of their fiber, and that fiber slows digestion, supports a comfortable gut, and gently moderates the natural sugars. A fresh blueberry juice or a strained blend, on the other hand, offers a more concentrated and convenient burst of certain nutrients and a smoother texture, though it leaves some of the fiber behind. Both choices hold their place. For everyday nourishment, whole berries make a wonderful foundation, while a juice or a smooth blend can be a pleasant occasional variation when you want something lighter to sip. When you do enjoy a more concentrated blueberry drink, a splash of water to dilute it makes the flavor gentler and the natural sugars easier to take in slowly. Sipping a glass of plain water alongside, simply for comfort, rounds out the experience. Hydration itself supports the whole body, and it matters especially for the eyes, whose surface relies on a delicate film of moisture, the tear layer, to stay clear and comfortable. When the body is well hydrated, that surface has what it needs to feel at ease, so a glass of water is always close to this conversation about sight. On portions, a comfortable and realistic guide is roughly a handful to a cup of blueberries, about 80 to 150 grams on most days, folded into an already varied diet. That amount fits easily into breakfast, into a snack, or into a blend, and it leaves plenty of room for the other colorful foods that round out eye-supporting nutrition. Moderation and variety, rather than any single large serving, create the most balanced and sustainable rhythm, one you can happily keep for years rather than weeks. And blueberries need never be confined to breakfast. Scatter a few over a green salad, and they add jewel-like sweetness alongside the leaves and their fat-soluble pigments. Stir them into a grain bowl, and they lift an ordinary lunch with color and a gentle burst of flavor. Enjoy a small bowl in the evening in place of a heavier dessert, and you satisfy a craving for something sweet while feeding your body real nourishment. The more corners of the day a food can fill so easily, the more naturally it becomes a genuine and lasting habit. Here is a warm and filling preparation for cooler mornings. Stir half a cup of blueberries into a bowl of cooked oatmeal, either fresh or straight from frozen. As the warm oats meet the berries, the fruit softens slightly and releases its color into the porridge, turning it a gentle shade of purple. You gain the fiber of both the oats and the berries in one comforting bowl, a preparation that feels like a small daily kindness to yourself. A few extra berries scattered on top add brightness and a little burst of flavor in every spoonful, and a sprinkle of seeds or nuts turns it into a complete and satisfying start to the day. Blueberries and apple make another classic and affordable pairing. A crisp red apple, chopped and combined with a handful of blueberries, creates a naturally sweet mixture rich in fiber and gentle plant compounds. Enjoyed as a simple chopped fruit bowl, or blended with a little water into a smooth drink, blueberries and apple make a friendly, budget-conscious combination that almost anyone can put together from ordinary market fruit. The apple lends its own soft sweetness and satisfying crunch, while the blueberries bring their deep color and their antioxidant characters straight to the center of the bowl. It is proof that the most nourishing choices are often the plainest and the least expensive. As our story gathers toward its close, let us weave the most useful threads together into something you can carry into any ordinary week. The heart of it is simple. A handful of blueberries most days, eaten whole for their fiber or blended for variety, sits at the center of a colorful, eye-friendly way of eating. Around that center, you build with other colors, the deep green of spinach, the warm orange of mango, melon, and mandarin, the bright spark of citrus, each adding its own nutrients to the whole. Eating a rainbow across the week, rather than chasing any single food, is the real secret, and blueberries make one of its most enjoyable and reliable notes. A gentle weekly rhythm can make this effortless. Perhaps blueberries and yogurt on some mornings, a green blend with spinach on others, a handful scattered over a salad at lunch, and a small bowl of berries in place of a heavier dessert now and then. Across a single week, that easy variety quietly delivers anthocyanins, lutein, vitamin C, and a broad spread of colorful nutrients, all without a single complicated meal. The habit stays light, the flavors stay interesting, and your eyes receive steady, gentle support the whole time. A blend that brings blueberries together with a little spinach, some mango, and a slice of melon or mandarin becomes a striking, deeply colored drink that gathers anthocyanins, lutein, carotenoids, and vitamin C into a single glass. The blueberries hold the center with their color and their antioxidants. The spinach quietly contributes its precious pigments, and the sweeter fruits soften the flavor into something genuinely enjoyable. This is eye-supporting nutrition at its most practical, its most affordable, and its most delicious. And it takes only a few minutes to prepare. For a preparation with a little more substance, blueberries pair beautifully with chia seeds. Stir a tablespoon of chia seeds into a cup of water or milk with half a cup of blueberries. Then let it rest for a short while until the seeds swell into a soft, spoonable pudding. The chia adds fiber and a pleasant texture. The blueberries add their color and their gentle sweetness, and the result keeps well in the refrigerator for a day or two, ready whenever hunger arrives. It makes a thoughtful make-ahead breakfast for busy mornings, waiting quietly for you while the day begins. If you enjoy warm preparations, a gentle blueberry compote offers comfort with very little effort. Warm a cup of blueberries in a small pan with a splash of water over low heat until they soften and release their juices into a glossy, deep purple sauce. Spoon it over oatmeal, over yogurt, or simply enjoy it on its own. A gentle warmth softens the berries beautifully, and the compote keeps in the refrigerator for a few days. A small jar of color ready to brighten a plain breakfast whenever you like. A little goes a long way, so even a single cup of berries stretches across several mornings. And for the simplest refreshment of all, a light blueberry infusion asks almost nothing of you. Gently crush a small handful of fresh blueberries into a jug of cool water and let it rest for a while, so the color and flavor drift into the water. The result is a softly tinted, lightly flavored drink, a calm and pretty way to enjoy a little of the berry's character while staying comfortably hydrated through the day. On a warm afternoon, it is a gentle alternative to plainer drinks, quietly encouraging you to reach for water more often. There is one more pairing that makes a fitting note near the end: blueberries and mango together. The deep blue of the berry beside the golden orange of ripe mango is a picture of complementary color, and it is a partnership of complementary nutrients as well. The mango brings its carotenoids and its lush tropical sweetness, while the blueberries bring their anthocyanins and their fiber. A simple bowl of the two, or a smooth blend of blueberries and mango with a little water, offers a naturally sweet, sunshine-colored way to bring more eye-supporting variety into a day, and it tastes like a small holiday in a glass. So let this be the shape you carry with you. Choose plump, deeply colored blueberries with their silvery bloom intact. Keep them dry and cool until you want them. Then rinse them quickly under cool water. Enjoy roughly a handful to a cup on most days, whole for their full fiber, or blended for pleasant variety, often in the morning or as a snack when it suits you. Lean on their natural friends, the leafy greens, the orange fruits, and the citrus. And remember that a small teaspoon of flaxseed oil, stirred cold into a salad or a finished dish, helps your body draw out the fat-soluble pigments that matter so much for the eyes. Pair them often with a colorful companion, a handful of greens, a slice of bright orange fruit, or a source of gentle fat, so that their quiet goodness is even easier for the body to use. Keep a bag in the freezer for the days when fresh runs low, and let variety, rather than any single food, do the quiet, steady work over the long stretch of a life. In the end, the blueberry gives us a small and beautiful lesson. Here is a fruit that fits in the palm of a hand, deep blue, faintly sweet, and quietly generous. It carries the memory of wild woodlands and the ingenuity of a single century of cultivation. It offers color that is also protection, sweetness that comes wrapped in fiber, and a comfortable place in nearly any simple preparation you can imagine. From a single handful eaten on a busy morning to a deep, colorful blend shared at a family table, it asks little and gives much. Thoughtful, colorful eating supports far more than the eyes alone. It nourishes the whole body, day after ordinary day. And a bowl of blueberries, plain and unhurried, remains one of the loveliest and most affordable ways to begin.